it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get the push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael. Find your great ideas and make them a reality. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, trust your ideas.
Great ideas flow through you. Teach yourself, train yourself that great ideas are flowing through you, that the idea that you just came up with, that you've been thinking of, that doesn't make any sense, is great, is amazing, and is right for you, because quite often, the ideas that come to you don't make sense, are not practical. Someone like you shouldn't do it. And whenever your head and your heart are misaligned, whenever your heart wants to do something, but your head tells you that you can't do it, if you listen to your head, you'll stay small. If you listen to the practical reasons why you can't do it, then guess what? You won't do it. You'll stay stuck, you'll stay small, you'll stay crushed for life, knowing that you're capable of more, but never going after it. So trust that great things flow through you. Trust that this thing that just came into your mind, if you're feeling bold, ambitious, confidence, in service, that it's the right thing for you and you need to go and chase it down. Yesterday, I was doing an Instagram Live with Gary Vaynerchuk, and I was a little nervous going into it. Hadn't done something with Gary for a couple, maybe about a year, and talked to him about his new book coming up, which I'm super excited by. And I had my whole list of questions that I thought I was going to go through. And it took a hard left turn in the middle of the interview where I asked him about death and D-Rock. D-Rock, if you don't know, is his main guy on the YouTube side, filming side, been with him for years. And I said, hey, if D-Rock died, what would happen? What would happen to you? How much would you go into your cocoon? And then I asked him as a final question, if D-Rock were to die tomorrow, not wishing that on him, but if you were to die tomorrow, what would your final message be to him? You know, we often say that we don't have that final time to talk to somebody before they pass, but if you had that moment, what would you say?
So D-Rock is going to die tomorrow. It's still a scenario. What do you want to tell him and tell the world here before he goes?
And that was my final question. It ended up being this beautiful moment where he looked at D-Rock and gave him this awesome message. That was not on my list. That was not the final question that I wanted to ask him initially going into it, and my pre-thinking and planning and going ahead. That's not the question I was going to ask. But it ended up being such a beautiful moment. And I'm super proud that I did it. This is what happens. Like we constantly come up with these great ideas. Again, as long as you're in a positive spot, as long as you're feeling in service, as long as you do a gut check to say, hey, is this trying to help people or not? If you're feeling that and a great idea comes to you, if you're around amazing people, you go to an event or a conference, you watch a video that inspires you, the next idea that comes to you, the thing that is flowing through you is greatness. It's greatness. And then our head talks us down from doing it, finding all the reasons why it's not going to work for us. And I get that it's scary. I get that it's difficult. I get that it's hard to trust that instinct, you know, to, in that moment of boldness, actually do something about it. This is why momentum is so important, because you probably have great ideas. You want to serve. If you're watching this channel, you want to serve, you want to help, you know you're capable of more, you want to do this, but you're not because you're afraid. And there's just not enough momentum towards the ideas. So I'm going to give you a couple steps that I think can help you turn the greatness that is inside you into something real, you know, into something tangible. So how do we do it? Let's start. Step number 1 is actually believe that great ideas flow through you. Maybe you give yourself credit, maybe you want to give something else credit, but great ideas flow through you. Believe it. Short circuit the mind out of the equation. That because it came to you, this sounds like the most egotistical thing of all time, but because it came to you, it's a great idea, right? That's what I will tell myself when I'm afraid, when I'm in doubt, when I'm insecure about doing the thing. Because it came to me, it's a great idea. Therefore, I must do it. because great ideas flow through me. The more you can teach yourself to actually embody that and believe that, holy cow, does your life change. It changes. It completely changes. So one is believe that great ideas flow through you. That greatness is flowing through you. It may not be happening constantly. You may not be always filled with fantastic ideas, but when a new idea comes to you and it's in service to others, it is greatness, and you have to do something about it. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two is immediate action. Immediate action. Immediate action to start building some kind of momentum. This is the problem. This is what we're missing. What's the first step that most of us take? What's the first step that you take? What's the first step? You most often immediately start to talk yourself down. Does this relate? Does this connect? Like, as soon as you get the idea, immediately you're talking yourself down? Forget about telling friends, family that that's a problem. No, it's you. It's your own mind that's holding you back, saying that you can't do things. After that, what do? We go into planning mode. Plan. Gonna research, gonna make my perfect plan, gonna write out all my questions for this interview, gonna, research. And then what? And then what happens? Nothing. Because you spend the first day planning and you wake up tomorrow and you tell yourself that you can't do it. So the first step is not planning. Planning is important, but it's not the first step. The first step is some kind of immediate action. This is where people get caught up. It's like, well, what's a perfect first step? There is no perfect first. Guys, there's no perfect first step. There's no perfect first step. Go make, go create, go do something. Like something, anything. You want to write a book? Take out your notepad, let's say typewriter. Who uses a typewriter? Your laptop, your computer, whatever. And just start writing. Take out a piece of paper like this and just start writing. Like if you're stuck in the car and you come with a great idea for what you should be doing for your book, pull over, or if somebody else is driving, Nina drives while I film these videos. Take out a piece of paper and just start writing on this. You may think, but this is nothing, and you're right. But you know what's something? The first step. Momentum, because your scribble notes down here, that means everything. That's more progress than most people ever make on their goals. Because once you get started, the next step becomes so much easier. It's the first step that sucks. The first step that seems so giant. So don't worry about the perfect first step. Just start building some immediate momentum. Learn to take crappy first steps. Crappy first steps. Crappy first steps. So, 1, trust that great ideas flow through you. 2, take immediate momentum, immediate action towards something on it. And then 3, just trust that it's going to work out. We put so much pressure on this next idea having to be the big thing, the thing that changes everything. This is my moment. This is finally the thing that's going to help me break through. We put so much pressure on it. It's like you're going on a first date. It's like, this has to be the one who I'm going to marry. Well, you don't know how it's going to work out. You don't know how it's going to work out. But just trust that you're going in the right direction. Trust that you're going in the right direction. And overall, things are going to work out. Because I guarantee you, if you keep listening to the ideas that come to you, when you're feeling in service, bold, confident, courageous, you listen to them and you do something on them. If you continue to listen to those ideas and you continue to take action on them, your life is going to be so different. It's going to be so different. And it's not going to be the life that you planned out on paper. It's not going to be the life that you set forth, because you don't know what you're going to create. Having that dream house or dream car or dream boat or whatever, that's not actually your dream. That's not your dream. That's just a outcome. Your dream is to be of value. Your dream is to serve people. Your dream is to feel like you mattered. Your dream is to wake up, feel like today is going to mean something because you showed up. That's way more fulfilling than that car on your dream board. So trust that it's going to work out. You do those things, your life is in a totally different spot. Your life, your family, the impact that you're having. And it all begins with trusting that great ideas flow through. So homework time, challenge time. The next time a great idea flows through you, that you feel good about, that you feel bold about, that's like, man, this could be the thing. I'm so happy about this. Like I would love to be able to go do this. Wow, what a great idea. Stop holding yourself back. Stop telling yourself you can't do it. And get out there and take some immediate action, because great ideas flow through you.
Rule number 2, work hard and smart.
You have to work hard and smart. It's not one or the other. People ask me all the time, Evan, do I have to work hard or do I have to work smart? Both. The answer is both. All of your heroes, all the people you look up to, all the people you want to be like, all the people who've accomplished what you want to accomplish, they do both. They work very hard and they work smart. If you only focus on one, you're not going to accomplish the mission, the goals that you're after. Hard work is your ticket in. Nobody has accomplished anything of any significance without a lot of hard work. A lot. It's your ticket in. But hard work alone isn't enough. There are plenty of people, myself included when I was first starting my company, who worked hard. There's lots of people who work hard. There's people here, at Costco. Can you see the Costco sign? There's a lot of people here at Costco who will work really hard, who don't get ahead, who don't accomplish their goals. There's lots of people that you know who work really hard. Maybe your parents, maybe your friends, maybe your family. You know they're not just mailing it in. You know they're working really hard, and yet they're earning minimum wage. They're not moving any closer to their dreams. They've maybe even given up on their big dreams in life. So hard work alone isn't enough, but it's your ticket in. It has to be both. Work hard, work smart. So when I first started my business, I was working hard. I was working my face off. This is why I ended up not liking my life, was because I was working so hard and not getting results. I woke up every day. I turned down the 6-figure-a-year job to work every day, drive to my business partner's apartment, work at his dining room table because his little home office was too small for me to be in there. And I got there first thing in the morning and I left after it was dark, and I packed my bean salad lunch with me every day. And that was every day. Every day, wake up every day, do the same thing. Every day, do the same thing. Every day, do the same thing. Had no girlfriend, had no friends, had no money to be with friends, did basically nothing else. Woke up, went to his apartment, worked, nighttime, go home, rinse and repeat. And there's, I think, only so much you can do of that when you're getting no results. That just takes its toll. I was somebody who, whenever I put myself into something, whenever I put my mind on something, I would eventually get results, right? I mean, you've probably seen that yourself. You've put your effort towards something, you eventually see results. And here I was every single day, all day long, pouring everything I have into this business, and nothing was happening, nothing. And I'm making no money, and I'm feeling worthless, and I'm too embarrassed to tell my friends that it wasn't working, and I have all this pressure on myself to make this work, and starting to regret, why didn't I just go back and take that job that I could have had and all my friends were taking? So the hard work alone wasn't enough, and it broke me. It broke me. It got to the point where I told my business partner, I quit. I can't do this anymore. I need to feel like I'm a valuable human being. It fully broke me. And then, as you may have heard the story already, the next day I woke up and I said, I can't quit yet because I haven't given it everything. I don't want to look back on my life and regret this moment right here. Regret this moment as the time where I knew I could have done a little bit more. I had a little bit left in the tank and I quit. I didn't want to look back on my life and regret this moment right now. But I couldn't just keep doing these things the same way I was doing it. And that's where I asked myself the magical question of who has done this thing before and how can I learn from their success? Now I call it modeling success. And now it's a default strategy I use for anything I'm trying to do that I don't know how to do. You don't know how to do something? Model success. Success leaves clues, it will teach you. But when I was first getting started, I had no idea what it was called. It was a measure of last resort because I didn't want to quit. And that's where I discovered Bill Gates. That's where I discovered his story, how he started, led to my first deal for $13,500, and then the rest is history, and the company grew. That was the start of me working smart. I was working hard, and not getting results. When I combined it with working smart, that's when things started to take off. A lot of people are just trying to work smart. and that's not going to get you anywhere either if you're not working hard. It has to be in that combination. So how do you do it? How do you actually start working smart and working hard at the same time? Well, first off is your actions have to map to your ambitions. So look at your calendar. Look at the life that you want. And when I'm saying working hard, it's not just working hard for your business. It's working hard for the life that you want. What kind of life do you want? What kind of relationships do you want? What do you want your body to look like? What kind of life do you want? And then put that in your calendar. So if you want to have great relationships, then where in your calendar are you spending time on your relationships? Whether that's your intimate relationship and you're spending time every day connecting, whether that's your friend relationships and you're spending time every week doing something, whether it's your parents and you want to call your mom every week, like put it in your calendar. We often only put our business stuff in our calendar, and then our health and our relationships massively suffer because of it. It's very typical for entrepreneurs. You only put your business stuff in your calendar, and what gets put in your calendar, you're way more likely to actually go off and do. But then everything else falls aside. Everything else falls aside because you haven't prioritized it. You have to put in your calendar. Put your me time in your calendar. Put your fitness time, your health time in your calendar. Put your relationship time in your calendar. Put your work time in your calendar too. So you should be able to look at your calendar over the next week and see from up above to say, okay, if I did these things that are in my calendar, am I moving closer to the life that I want to be living? Am I moving closer to my health, relationship, business, financial goals? Yes, great, do it. No, great, go back and tweak it. Most people don't have the clarity to actually create that for themselves in their life. So step number one is your actions have to map to your ambitions, okay? Step number two is you model success. You find the people who've accomplished those things in different areas. I love learning different things from different people. Your goal is not to be the next Elon Musk. Your goal is to be the best you, but you can take a piece from Elon Musk. I look at Elon Musk and say, I want to be a visionary like Elon Musk. I am wowed by the scale and the size of his thinking. I love it. It makes me want to think bigger and play a bigger game. Every time, it's great. I don't want to be a father like Elon Musk. I don't want to be a husband like Elon Musk. I would rather be a father and a husband like my father is. And so that's great. You learn different things from different people. You've got different goals. You have financial goals and health goals and personal goals and relationship goals and business goals and all of those goals. You find the best inside of those and you model them. You are around them every day. It's why I make all the videos that I do on my channels to introduce you to different people so that you have different models of success. And every single day I'm making videos across all these different channels to try to hit you in a lot of different ways with a new mentor who might be able to guide you. So whatever you don't know what to do, model the people who have done it. If there is a shortcut, if there's a hack for life, that's it. Success leaves clues. Go find the people and look at how they started, not how he does it now or she does it now, but how did they start? How did it go from just having that goal and struggling to actually accomplishing stage one of the goal? So step number one is your actions have to map to your ambitions. Step number two is you model success. And step number three is, I don't see it as work. Don't see work as work. People ask me, how much are you working? I don't know. I don't actually keep track. Is it 40 hours? Is it 60 hours? Is it 100 hours? I don't know. What's work? Is this work? This doesn't work for me. This doesn't feel like work. I'm sitting here making videos for you while Nina's inside, at the Costco. Can you see the Costco? Did I already try this? Maybe not. Anyway, at the Costco, getting groceries and running our errands, and we're with the dogs here, and I'm making videos. This doesn't feel like work to me. I wouldn't classify it as, I'm going to my job. I love this stuff. This is great. If Nina was hanging out with her friends on a Friday afternoon and I wasn't invited, there's an 85% chance I'm gonna be working on something. Ooh, I got 4 extra hours to free up to do something by myself. Great. There's a 15% chance I'm playing League of Legends and an 85% chance I'm working on some new project. But I don't see it as work. And I think if you study successful people, they'll see that over and over and over again, is that they love what they're doing so much that it's not work, that you get lost in it. It's not a job that they have to go to. it actually becomes the escape because they love it so much. And so think about your own process. Do you actually love the work that you're doing and don't see it as work, but see it as just an extension of who you are? So if you want to work super hard and work super smart as well to accomplish your goals, step number 1 is your actions have to map to your ambitions. Step number 2 is model success and find the people who've done it. And step number 3, don't see your work as work. Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to shift that habit forward. So I've designed a special free program to help you get more self-belief for every day. For 254 days, I will send you an email to an unlisted video that if you watch it, will shift your confidence forward. The links to join for free are in the description below.
Create an outline and a schedule. What I found really helpful for me was to create an outline at the start.
People who win work the hardest because they love what they do.
If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
Rule number 3, shift your beliefs.
Your next big step forward in life will come from a big shift in perspective on one of your beliefs. Your habits, your routines, the results that you're getting all come from what you believe to be true about your life and the world. And for you to get different results than you're getting right now in your life, you're going to have to change your perspective on one or more of your beliefs. So this topic makes me think about my favorite comment of all time. If you think about my YouTube channel, I've had it for 11 years and I don't know how many thousands of comments. My favorite comment of all time was we profiled a Black entrepreneur, and one of the guys in the comments said, growing up, my parents taught me that Black people were the N-word. And you just changed my perspective today. I was willing to learn from a Black man. And it blew my mind because when I first set out to make my channel, it wasn't really about race or willingness to learn from other people. It was more, hey, these people have accomplished success. You should go and learn from them. I wasn't set out to try to solve sexism or racism or anything so big like that. But what had happened was I had enough credibility with this person, and I didn't know them from anything. They just watched enough of my videos that then when I made this video on a Black man, he decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a few minutes. And that experience changed his perspective that then will hopefully go off and change his life. Imagine having that belief that then changes, what kind of ripple effect that has on the rest of your life. And that's what happens when you get exposed to new opportunities and new people and new perspectives. You were raised with a perspective. Your parents, your family, community, a super isolated perspective that you feel is right. And many of those things may still be right for who you want to become. But if you want to have greater success, greater levels of confidence, greater levels of happiness and purpose and fulfillment than the people around you, you're going to have to believe something that's different than what they believe. You're going to have to surround yourself with other people who've actually gone off and done that thing, because the people around you aren't giving you the thing that you need. And so that's one of my main goals with this channel. I know people come in to learn from people who are like them. You learn from people who look like you, who might be the same sex or same gender, in the same industry, or use the same language as you. But what I'm really hoping to do as well is, in that process, you came for this one person, you came for this one thought or one idea, and I want to expose you to a whole bunch of different perspectives, all still within the lens of belief, right? Everything on my channels, all of the channels are always positive. It's always belief. It's always optimistic. It's always uplifting. But I want to try to hit you with different perspectives and angles, because Eric Thomas and Jocko Willink are going to yell at you through something, and Oprah Winfrey and Wayne Dyer are going to hug you through something. And sometimes maybe you need to yell, and sometimes you need to hug. But I want to give you different perspectives to help you become the best version of you. Okay, so how do we make the perspective shifts that we need to make in our life to get to the spot that we want to be? I've got a 3-step process. Let's go. Step number 1 is learn to learn from people that you hate. This is one of the most important things that I can articulate, that I can push you towards. Find somebody who's had success, ideally in some kind of related field, but still had some success that you hate for some reason, and force yourself to learn from them. Force yourself to find one thing about them that you can learn to make you better at what to do. So even looking at my wall here, right? I like to tell the story. I've got Steve Jobs here, and I got my dad here. I want to be a visionary like Steve Jobs and a father like my father. I don't want to be a father like Steve Jobs and a visionary like my dad, right? The whole point of this is for you to be the best you. And for that to happen, you pull different things from different people. You may hate everything about Steve Jobs or everything about Kanye West at the back wall there, but there's one thing that you can learn from that person to help you be better. That's often a thing that unlocks a huge chunk of learning. People typically lock themselves in a box. You've trapped yourself in a box of learning, of saying, I'm only going to learn from these kinds of people. And so you get the same kind of messages over and over and over again. But really, if you want to unlock your learning, finding people who you disagree with, who you may hate a lot about them, but examining how they've had success, a good starting point is the top 10s on my other channel, right? It's always positive. It's something that I've learned from. If I can learn from them, you could probably learn from them as well. There's one little nugget out of those 10 rules maybe that can apply to your life. And when I was learning from Kanye West was somebody who used to bother me a lot. I saw somebody who's got a giant ego, somebody who I didn't want to be like. But I realized, you know what? I can learn from this guy. I can learn from this guy. I can learn to think bigger like Kanye. I can learn to be a better friend. If you know the story of him and John Legend, I can learn to be a better friend like Kanye. That you can't really see that picture there, but he's on a radio interview and he's saying in that clip, the time is now to be the greatest you. I don't want to sit inside a corporation for the next 30 years. Like, this is the time. The time is now. Let's go. I believe that. I need to remember that even more. Like, the time is now. Not tomorrow, not in 3 years, not next month. Like, it's right now. The time is now for you. You can learn that from Kanye right now, even if you hate him. So step number 1 is find somebody who you hate. Go to my top 10 channel or my main channel and go back in the archives and find somebody who you see their picture and it drives you nuts already. Great. Force yourself to go learn one thing from that person. That's the starting point for shifting your perspective. Step number 2 is say, it's the best. It's the best. This is one of the most valuable perspective shifts that I think any human can make, is when you're faced with something that's negative, something that most people will complain of, and the old you used to complain about, you shift it and say, this is the best. This is the best. This thing that's happening to me right now, this is the best. This coronavirus is happening right now, for me, it's the best. Shift your perspective to say this is the best, because what it does is it moves you from a place of being complaining and upset and angry and unproductive into a place of possibility, of resourcefulness, of you now showing to yourself and to the world what you're capable of. And so when I broke my neck, when there's a fire alarm going off, when we have coronavirus, this is how I stay productive. This is how I stay focused. This is how I stay pushing forward when most people are complaining and negative, is I tell myself, this is the best. This is my chance. This is an opportunity. And I think this is one of the biggest things that entrepreneurs who've had the biggest success crush at. So many entrepreneurs have built their businesses, the ones that you look up to and respect and admire and want to be like, they built their businesses in the toughest times. They built their businesses in recessions and depressions. Why? Because they said it's the best. So whatever that thing is that feels overwhelming, all encompassing, negative in your life, stop complaining about it and say, this is the best. I'm growing. I'm getting stronger through this adversity. I'm going to make something amazing as a result of it. And step number 3 is the first time yes rule. The first time yes rule is the first time you get invited to something or an idea comes to your head, say yes. Most people are in the no business. Most people are looking at all the reasons why it's not going to work and you can't do this and you have no skills or abilities or time or resources. You're always finding no's. We're in the no business of why we can't do stuff. We've told ourselves we can't do these things. Just say yes the first time. This is one of the things I love most about my wife, Nina, is I'll come up with all sorts of crazy ideas, and the first time she'll say yes. We'll see, right? You want to drive to Boston with 2 videographers in the back and film the, yes, perfect. You want to go to Sadhguru in Philadelphia and spend 2 days meditate? Yes, perfect. Even though you hate the cold, you want to sit in an ice bath with Wim Hof when he comes to Toronto and film behind? Yes, perfect. Doesn't mean she's going to do it again. She hasn't sat in an ice bath since, but it's the first time yes. The first time yes rule is one of the biggest mentality shifts that if you can make, you'll open yourself up to so many more opportunities. I look at dancing, for example, Toronto Dance Salsa, right? Another business that I run and operate. The number of people who come in and are scared and super nervous, and it's their first time dancing ever as an adult, and then you see the shift that they make in the identity of like, I just did that. I danced. I never thought I could dance. And here I got a few basic steps of a move. And if they keep coming back, they'll keep getting better. A lot of times you're not making the perspective shift that you need because you're not trying enough new stuff because you're in the no business. First time yes rule. You get an idea, somebody asks you for something, somebody wants to try something with you. Yes. First time yes. Doesn't mean you keep doing it. And as long as it doesn't go against your ethics or your values, don't go rob a bank because they said first time yes. Okay, we're not talking about that kind of stuff. But when you feel a little bit outside your comfort zone, it's like, I'm not the kind of person who does that. First time yes rule. Just see. You might surprise yourself.
Rule number 4, play to win.
Most people are so afraid to lose that they don't even try. So when you have nothing, when you're at the bottom, you've got nothing to lose. And so it's very easy to go off and try. But as soon as there are stakes, as soon as you've won just a little bit, now you risk losing something. And this is where most people back down and play small for life. And so you need to decide, are you playing life to win or are you playing life afraid to lose? So I look at my YouTube channel as an example. When I started it, there was no risk. Nobody knew me. Nobody was watching my videos. I could go and fail, didn't make a difference. I could try a whole bunch of different things. Whenever the algorithm changed, I got pumped because the people who were ahead of me were complaining and would be romantic and would want it to go back to the way it was. And I'm like, hey, algorithm change, amazing, let's go. I'm gonna learn that new thing. But now I've gotten bigger. Right now, I think I have more views than anybody in the entrepreneur space on YouTube. And it's easy to now be protective. It's easy to say, well, I built this thing I don't want to lose. And I hate that. I need to destroy that. I want to be constantly losing, constantly testing, constantly risking. Now, not risking it all, not putting everything on the line just for one thing, but to be willing to test, to be willing to fail. As an example, I split up my channels. I split up my channels into 8 different channels. I got an advice from Matt Geelan. He's one of 5 people who I would put on my hand as people who I would listen to for YouTube advice, right? He was one of the 5. And another one of the 5 said, don't do it. So I got 5 people who I listen to about YouTube. One person says, split up your channel. One person says, don't do it. What do? I have to do it just to see, because I know what not splitting up my channel looks like. It's what I'm currently doing. But splitting up my channel, I won't know if it's going to work or not until I actually go off and do it. And so I did. And here's a newsflash. It's not working yet, right? My other channels, the most I think has 8,000 subscribers. I have 2 around 8,000 subscribers and the others are smaller. And they're growing every day and they're gaining momentum every day. But overall, my subscriber growth is down. My views are down. My revenue is down. Everything is down. It's all down. Watch time is down. Everything is down. Is it a big failure? I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to give it more time and see. It's a risk, right? I went from making 3 videos a day on one channel to making 1 video a day across a couple channels. And then, once a week on some channels, and we have 8 different channels now. It's more headache, it's more management. Maybe ultimately it will work out. Or maybe in 6 months I'll come back and say, man, that was a giant failure. That sucked. But I won't know until I try. And that's where you need to risk it. That's where you need to try. You need to see, you need to test, you need to taste it. Because if I just take that mindset every time of saying, well, this is what's always worked, and so I need to protect this and stay true to this, and that's it, and I can never change. One, I'm gonna eventually hate my life. I'm gonna hate my business because you need to evolve, you need to change, you need to grow. What got you success is amazing, but if you then do that same thing over and over and over forever, you're gonna feel like you got yourself a job. Why did you leave your job to do this thing, to have creativity and freedom and fun, not to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, right? You have to evolve your business as you evolve as a human, or your business will start to flounder and suffer. And it happens to so many entrepreneurs. You see this growth and then you see this plateau, this long plateau, and people start to get more and more bored with their business and with their life because they're not evolving their business as they evolve as humans, right? So if I did that with my YouTube channel, I would start to struggle and suffer, and you see it with a lot of YouTubers. Now maybe in 6 months I end up going back, right? Or maybe I never go back. But there's always going to be some new iteration, some new version, some new thing that I'm willing to risk, even though I've grown my channel. I'm among the biggest in the space. And so always having that mindset, I want to win. I want to win. I want to keep pushing. I want to just not play life trying not to lose. And so when, again, at the beginning, it's easy. But once you start building something up, and that's in your business, that's in your relationships, like your relationship will need to evolve too. What got you there is a good starting point, but you're going to evolve. And your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, they're going to evolve too. And can you evolve together? I think the test of a relationship is how much can you evolve together? Because if you're growing and learning and improving yourself and your partner's just staying still, you're eventually going to grow apart. Or if your partner's going a different way, you're going to grow apart even faster. But you're going to grow. Nobody just wants to stay static forever. And so can you weave and grow together? That's the game. So you have to decide, are you playing to win or are you playing just not to lose? So how do you play to win? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think can help. Step number 1 is use the fear of regret. Use regret. Regret is very powerful. Because if you look at people who are at the end of their life, in old age homes, who can't do it anymore, who can't chase their goals anymore, they're filled with regret. They're like, I knew I had potential. I knew I could have done something, but I didn't because I was just too afraid. Use that power for yourself. You're afraid to do something. You're afraid to change. You're afraid to risk something. You're going to be 95. You're going to be on your deathbed soon. Like imagine you're there right now. And you never took the thing that you wanted to do. You never got an answer. You never chased it down because you were afraid. You're gonna hate your life. That's where most people are at. But the good news is you can come back to this year, right? You can step back into your body right now and say, I can do it. And so adopting the mindset that you would rather know and fail than not know. Not knowing equals regret forever. Knowing and failing, you can deal with it. You very rarely regret the things that you do. It's most often the things that you did not do, that you were afraid to do, the actions not taken that people regret. And so don't be like that. Whenever you're afraid of doing something, take that test. Use the regret test. Imagine yourself at 95 in a rocking chair in an old age home, and you never did the thing that you're thinking about right now. Would you regret that? And whatever you think that you would regret not doing, you have to summon the courage to do it right now. Step number 2 is understand that your setback primes your comeback. Your setbacks prime your comebacks. Nobody's on top always, right? It says drop and then you come back even higher. And so whatever you want to go off and do, right? Whatever change you want to go off and make, chances are, 1, it's not fatal. Like you can always come back to something, right? If you want to take a year off after university to go be an entrepreneur instead of going to that job, right? If you're in a job that you hate and you say, you know what, I can always get another job. So I'm going to try for a year doing my own business. It's not fatal. You can always come back and do it. You can always come back and get that crappy job. You know you're capable of it. You know you're probably more than capable of it, of what you're doing right now. But the thing is, you're probably not going to go back to it, right? Like you're leaving it for a reason. You don't go back to your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. You go back to that crappy boss. Because in that time, even though you may have failed a whole bunch of times, you've learned and you've grown. You're a stronger person because of it. So that setback primes you for your comeback because now you're a stronger person. You're capable of more. And you'll find the next path. The path that you chose may not be the ultimate path for you, but you know that the path you left is not the path for you either. And so better than sticking on some path that you know that you don't love, it's better to go off and explore, to test, to taste, to try. Most people don't do that enough. And they're so worried about the failure. You're worried about this new path failing and not working out. You can tell yourself you can always go back to that thing. And you can, and the facts are you can. You can go back and do what you're doing before, but you probably won't. Even if the thing that you jump to doesn't work out, you're not going back to where you were because you're stronger. You've grown. And that'll set you up for the comeback. That'll set you up for the next great thing in your life because you won't find the great thing doing the thing that you hate doing. And step number 3 is say it's the best. I've trained myself that whenever something really negative is happening to me, I say, this is the best. This is the best. What was the best part of me going on my tour for 90 days, 23 cities? Breaking my neck. Broke my neck in 2 spots, had a concussion, 3 staples in my head. I still have, you can kind of see down there. How do I point? Right there. There. Got my 2 neck braces that I had to sleep in and be in basically all day long except for a 10-minute shower. That was the best part of the tour. Not just positive attitude, like it's the best. It's actually the best. Because that negative situation that you're dealing with right now makes you stronger. It shows you what you're capable of. Thank you. Your purpose comes from your pain ultimately, right? Like the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life comes from the most painful moment in your life. Whatever you struggled the most with is the thing that you want to help other people through. And so thank you for that crazy pain. Somebody who hasn't been through pain never accomplishes anything amazing. So thank you. This pain that I'm going through right now, amazing. Let's go. This is the best. If you could just change that mindset tweak, next time you find yourself complaining, angry, upset, frustrated, tell yourself, just try it. This is the best. This is the best. This is my chance to show myself and the world what I'm made of. This is my chance to grow. This is the best. And watch how quickly it puts you into a resourceful state. Instead of being hopeless and complaining and upset and frustrated, now you feel like things are possible. Now you feel hopeful. Now you're resourceful. And now you're way more likely to solve the problem instead of sitting there complaining about it. It's the best.
Rule number 5, the last one before our very special bonus clip, do the scary things.
Everyone tells you to think bigger, to dream bigger, to 10x your goals, to if you had $1 million or $1 billion, what would you do? I think the bigger problem is not that you can't come up with a bigger vision for yourself, it's the belief that it's possible. That's why I think that lack of belief is the world's #1 problem. For me, for you, for all of your heroes and gurus, all of them. The lack of belief in the next thing, in your big vision, is the reason why you're not following through and being consistent on it. Especially for achievers, you guys, entrepreneurs, you're watching this video, you have big visions. You know, if we gave you the challenge of what is your big goal, what is your big vision, what is the life you want to create, we can get lost in the exercises, right? And that clarity is power, right? Sitting down and writing down your goals and where do you want to become and where are you going to be in 5 years, and all of those things can be great exercises to get you started, to get you thinking. And while we're writing it down, here's what happens. While you're writing it down, you actually feel that it's possible. You've let go of the limitations, you've let go of the restrictions, you've let go of your environment and your situation, said, this is what I want to create. And in that moment of boldness, you feel like everything is possible. And then what happens very quickly afterwards, maybe it's 10 minutes after, maybe it's an hour after, maybe it's the next day, maybe it even lasts a week, you start to look at that list of where you're going to be and you think, wow, I can't do that. Right? Does it sound familiar? Have you ever set some giant goal for yourself, feeling bold, motivated, and then the next day you wake up and say, I can't do that. I'm crazy. I was crazy. It's not even you telling your friends or your family or social media. It's you telling yourself that you suck and you can't do it. Right? That's the inner game that we need to work on. So how do we start to fix it? 1, I think it starts with understanding that the ideas that you come up with when you're feeling bold, powerful, inspired, motivated are actually the right ones for you. When you're feeling bold and you come up with something, and maybe that's because you watched a video or had a great conversation or read a book or went to a conference or event, for whatever reason, you've stepped outside your current mindset, limitations, belief system. You've stepped outside. You're looking at you. You're looking at a more confident, more bold version of you. And you come up with an idea that you want to do. That, I believe, is actually the best thing for you. And then your head starts talking you down because someone like you can't do it, be safe, be practical, there's no way you can accomplish it, you don't have the money, resources, education, support system, etc. Whatever valid, these aren't made up excuses, these are valid excuses, valid reasons. They make sense, otherwise you wouldn't believe them. But that's your job, to still go off and do that scary thing. Step 1 is when you're feeling that boldness and you come up with an idea, understand that that's actually the best you talking. That's actually the thing you have to go off and do. You have to start building some momentum towards. And your brain will forever try to keep you small. This is the challenge, is that we're not consistent because we don't believe that we can do the things that we say that we want to do. So that's step 1. Step 2 is take some kind of immediate action. Most people's immediate action is research. Most people's immediate action is planning. That's not enough. Immediate action is doing. You have to do something. And you don't know where to start. This is the next thing. I don't know where to start. I want to start a YouTube channel. I don't know where to start. You start by pulling out your phone and making a video. I'm in my car, on my phone, making a video. You can too. It's not worrying about it being perfect. It's expecting to suck and just start. Just create. I call it the 2% difference. It's like, what's the first 2% on your idea? We plan to get to 100% instead of just going and doing something on the first 2%. Whatever that big idea is, start to teach yourself that your ideas are amazing, that the ideas that flow to you are good. They're good for you, they're good for your family, they're good for your community, they're good for the world, they're good. And you have a duty to start doing something towards them. Start to train yourself on this. Recently, I wanted to learn about NFTs and cryptocurrency, and I've dabbled and learned a little bit, but I just decided I'm gonna figure this out. And last week on Friday, I spent the day learning it, and I had all sorts of obstacles thrown in my way. I couldn't get money out of my bank account because my bank blocked cryptocurrency purchases. My Visa blocked cryptocurrency purchases. There's a whole bunch of restrictions as a Canadian to buy from the different exchanges. All sorts of problems, and you know what? Like one problem after another, my US bank account. Like, well, I've got a US account with TD, so I'm gonna go to my US account, no problem. The TD was closed. The online banking had a update. Their website crashed. Like, oh my gosh, it's like nonstop. But we figured it out. Built some momentum, started taking some kind of action. It makes a huge difference, because while you're feeling the bold energy, if you wait till tomorrow, you won't feel the energy anymore. You can have the perfect plan, but tomorrow you won't have the same mindset, and so you won't execute the plan. That's what happens. So step one is to trust your big ideas, trust those bold ideas, trust that someone like you can do it, stop judging them. The fact that it came to you means that it's great, that it's flowing through you, and you have a responsibility to take some kind of action on it. Step two is to do something about it immediately, today, while you're feeling it, while you're feeling bold, while you feel things are, the potential is there, and researching doesn't count. You gotta actually do something about it. And then step three is to start to be around the people, the resources, the ideas, the videos that help you get that feeling more consistently. What made you feel bold? Where did that idea come from? What were you doing that led up to you feeling like you could be unstoppable? Maybe it's watching a video. Maybe the Espresso videos. Hey, I make one, every weekday for you to enjoy if you want. Maybe it's my other videos. Maybe it's somebody else's videos. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's somebody else or some other books. But what are the things that help make you feel bold, courageous, confident, unstoppable? It needs to be this injection from outside your environment. Your current environment, the people you hang out with, everything you're doing right now is designed to keep you where you are. And where you are is pretty good. It's pretty good, right? I mean, you have a pretty good life. Compare what your life is compared to the world. It's pretty good. You're in the top 1% of the world if you're watching this video. So it's pretty good, but pretty good is not enough. You know you can do more. You want more. You want growth. You want to serve. You want to make more. Right? You want to impact more. You want more out of this life. And for that to happen, you have to inject yourself with things that are outside your environment, because your environment right now keeps you stuck. Keeps you stuck in this good spot instead of moving towards the great spot. So whatever the books, the resources, the conferences, the people, the friendships, the videos, whatever the things are that help make you feel that boldness, then you need to inject more of that into your life. And the good news is it's only becoming easier. There's only more channels popping up. There's only more books coming out. There's only more events that you can sign up for. It's never been easier to access the people and the information that you need to access. Lack of access is no longer a good enough reason, right? For my parents, it would have been a lot more difficult. It was a lot more difficult. And the internet didn't exist when they were my age. The internet didn't exist when your parents, your grandparents were your age. The opportunities were not the same as they are right now. You have full access to what you want. The people, the resources, the ideas, the motivation, the confidence, the strategies, it's all there for you. You have to decide to be around it every day. Because if you were around the people, resources, motivations that made you feel bold every day, if you could actually feel that courageousness and confidence, not just once a month, but every day, or as close to it as possible, holy cow, your life is going to change. So one, those bold ideas that come to you, they're meant for you. You have to do something about them. Otherwise, you live your whole life in regret, knowing that you're capable of more. Two, you got to do something immediately on them. While you're feeling that bold, courageous energy, action, 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 no matter how small, action to make some momentum happen. And then three, start to surround yourself with the people, resources, ideas that make you feel that motivation on a consistent basis. Do those three things. Your life changes, your impact changes, your financial situation changes, your self-confidence changes. It all changes because you decided to show up for you.
You're afraid of experimenting because you tie your self-worth to winning instead of trying. If you base your self-worth off how much you win, then you're only going to try things that you have a good chance of winning at. Thus, you play small for life. But instead, if you base your self-worth on trying, on the effort that you're putting in, you will fail on most days, but you'll end up accomplishing more than you ever thought was possible. So every time I go to a YouTube event, I'm always being praised by my thumbnails. People always say, Evan's got the best thumbnails, go look at his thumbnails, model his thumbnails, use them as an example for the best practice. And I internally am always saying our thumbnails suck. We need to get better. Sure, we might be among the best, but we need to get better. We could be way better than we are right now. Why have we become the best? Because I'm experimenting constantly. Most of my tests do not work. I use a tool called TubeBuddy. Shout out TubeBuddy, huge fan. We've done over 1,100 split tests on our thumbnails, where we run one thumbnail against another and one against another and one against another, trying to beat our best. And most of the experiments don't work. They just don't work. I recently ran an experiment of, on my main channel, putting my face on the thumbnail with the YouTube white border against Tony Robbins. And it tanked. It was like 80% worse than our current thumbnail. And that's okay. People don't like my face next to Tony Robbins. That is okay. I'm fine with it. I expect to lose. I expect everything I do not to work, but I'm willing to test it to see. I just recently came up with one thumbnail design where I made the background purple instead of black. Purple instead of black. And it actually did better. It did significantly better. And so now I'm testing it out on 5 more thumbnails to see, does the purple one do better than the black one? If that works out, maybe I roll it out across the entire channel. But it's very rare that I find the win. Out of the 1,100 experiments that we've done, most of them will not work, will never work. Even from the beginning, I'm thinking this is probably not going to work, but I'm willing to test. That's okay. Even if the most likely outcome is failure, it's worth the test to see. I think we've been conditioned so much that failing is bad. That when you fail, you suck and everybody ridicules you, and then that's the end. The people who have won the most have failed the most. Jeff Bezos has failed the most. He's tried so many things and most of them do not work out. And that's fine. People don't see the losses when you've got a couple wins under your belt. But how do you get to the wins? Through all the losses, right? Most people, they take one bet, they lose because you don't know what you're doing the first time out. You lose and then you never get back and do it again. You never get up and try again. You settle for a mediocre life because you're not meant to be an entrepreneur. You're not meant to be an expert. You can never make it. And you tell this story to yourself. You just failed once. That's all. You should suck at the beginning. Most things should fail at the beginning. If you start studying success, and I've studied more successful people than most people, you'll see that it's a history of losses and failures and defeats in the micro that then they learn from. And they find one thing that works, and then they push all their chips in and go all in on that thing. That's the only difference. They're not any more special than you. They just are more willing to experiment, to try, and to fail. Now I've got a 3-step process to help you experiment more and stop caring so much what other people think that I think will help. Step number 1 is expect to suck at the start. Just expect to suck. It's crazy how people expect to be great the first time out. The first thumbnail that you're gonna make is gonna suck. The first person that you hire on your team is gonna suck. Not because they suck, it's because you suck as a manager, as a trainer, as a leader in hiring. You suck, it's your fault. Look at most companies and look at the first 10 people that they hired. Big companies, those 10 people aren't around anymore because the entrepreneur founder sucked at hiring. You will hire the wrong person. It doesn't mean that you can never hire people or should always be a solo entrepreneur. You just don't have that skill set yet. Okay, awesome. The first video that you make will suck. Go back and watch my first videos. They all sucked. I was completely embarrassed by the first 350 public videos on my channel. Completely embarrassed. Could not watch them back, ever. Awesome, keep going. You're gonna step up to the free throw line and try to shoot a basketball. You're not gonna get it in the first time, you just won't. I think actually if you're great the first time out, then you actually suck. Like if you get on camera and you make your first video, and you're great, you suck. You should have started 4 years ago. You should have started way before. You've waited too long. You're sleeping and sitting on your talent. So expect to suck. Expect the first thing to have 0 results. And you're just paying attention to, did you enjoy the process? I may have sucked at making videos at the beginning, but I liked it. I liked the process. And I slowly got better. And with time and effort and practice and patience, I got better. 6,000 videos later, here I am with my channel. And hopefully I continue to get better. But it's always because I expect to suck at the beginning. Step number 2 is watch your language. This is really important. You need to watch the language that you say, especially to yourself. You can ask other people to catch it for you, but you try to catch it yourself. Anytime you hear yourself saying hard, difficult, or scary, hard, difficult, or scary, let that be a trigger. It's a trigger. You're not allowed to say that anymore. That is not an acceptable reason for you not to do something. Why are you not gonna make a video? Because it's hard. Nope. Because it's difficult. Nope. Because it's scary. Nope. No. You do hard. You do difficult. You do scary. You love it. You want to do hard, difficult, and scary. What's the opposite? The opposite of hard, difficult, and scary is you do things that you are already good at, that are inside your comfort zone. Thus, you hate your life. If there's nothing in your calendar for the next week, next month that is hard, difficult, or scary, you hate your life. You're just photocopying the same day over and over and over and over again. You want something more. You know you're capable of something more. That's how it happens. And so it's a great little acid test. It's a great reminder that every time you hear yourself saying it, it's go time. You have to go do it. You have to, just because you said it. And have the people around you call you out on it too. Your husband, your wife, your kids, your friends, your family, your community, people around you. If you ever answer a question, I'm not gonna do it because it's hard, because it's difficult, or because it's scary, it's not an acceptable answer anymore. Because you do hard, you do difficult, and you love scary. And then step number 3 is tie your self-worth to the effort. Applaud the effort regardless of the result. I had a recent podcast with my friend Mark Drager, and I asked him, Mark, I need you to celebrate a point where you were proud of your effort, but you didn't get a result. Because he's so tied to getting results, which is great. But if you only tie your self-worth to getting results, you're gonna take small bets. You're only gonna play inside your comfort zone, and thus you play small for life. So I said, when was the last time that you were so proud of your effort, even though you didn't get a result? And he couldn't think of something on the spot. That's the problem. That's the problem. You're not rewarding it enough. Tie your self-worth to the effort. What have you done today, or what will you do today, this week, this month, that you're proud of the effort, even if the result is 0, even if the result is negative? You put up a video that you're working your face off to try to record and get out. You spend a whole day recording it, you finally get one, you post it, and everybody laughs at you. It's a negative result. Most people probably won't even care. But let's say you get a negative, awesome. I'm pumped for you. I'm pumped for you. I use the example when people are afraid to ask me questions in workshops or seminars, and they finally come up and they do something, whether it's just asking a question or performing or making a video or singing or whatever their talents are, come up and do it. Come on up and do it. And they're nervous and they're shy. And a lot of these people have been sitting on this talent for 5, 10 years and they haven't expressed it yet because they've been too afraid. And I tell them, even if you come up and you just vomit all over the place, you vomit all over me, I am pumped for you because you tried, because you stood up and you tried. Because if you got up every day and did that and you tied your self-worth to your effort instead of the results there are terrible, right? Really negative. You vomited on somebody. It's pretty bad. But if you got up every day and were proud of your effort, you got up again and you did it again and again and again and again, I promise you, you'll get results. And way bigger results than if you just did things that kept you in your comfort zone. Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
If you want to learn how to stay consistent on your morning routine, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
Imagine your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, the impact you're having, your routine, your daily, like what you're doing on a regular, and nothing has changed in 5 years.